and the player Tim Kahili. We do the press conference in English. You can ask your questions, of course, in English, in Russian, or in German. When you raise your hand, I'll give you the floor, and then wait for the microphone. For the volunteers, present yourself, please, who you are, for which media you work, and then you can ask your question. And I would ask you to have one question per media, please. So, congratulations again for qualifying for the tournament, and maybe you want to give a bit of an opening statement.
Yeah, thank you. It's good to be here. Obviously, a reward for winning the Asian Cup a couple of years ago, but really looking forward to the tournament. Obviously, got started last night, and we're the last game of the first round, so everyone's pretty itching to get going, and looking forward to it. Our training's been good. We've settled in well. Facilities are first class. Hotel, training ground has been excellent, and just looking forward to the game now.
Thank you very much. And then Tim, you also want to have your first feeling about the opening game here in Sochi?
Yeah, we're excited. I think as a group of players, staff, we've been welcomed really nicely by the locals. Facilities has been first class, but more importantly, our preparation's going really well. And it's going to be a big open game for us tomorrow, and something we're looking forward to.
Okay. So who wants to get the first question? The gentleman there. You please use the microphone. We have the translation going on in St. Petersburg.
Ben McKay, Australian Associated Press. A question to Tim. What's the key to beating Germany tomorrow?
I think the key for us in general is just believing in the way we play, the philosophy of what we've done in the last 2.5 years. We know that they're a young side, but we also know that they've got a lot of great players. But, there's a lot of pressure on them as a country to do well here, and pressure on them players because they're playing for a spot, hopefully for a World Cup for Germany. And we know that they've got to produce them for us. We know that if we can play the style that we know, that we can most definitely beat them.
Okay, next question. Over there, the first gentleman here, and then after.
Graham Davis from Inside Sport Australia. Question for you, Ange. Looking at the two teams, Germany and Australia, Germany have obviously come here without their full strength squad. Why was it so important for you to bring your full strength squad?
Because we want to, continue to evolve as a team, and we want to do well here. I mean, I'm not really sure if that's a trick question or something, but I usually pick my best team, and we usually try and do well. So nothing really changes for this tournament, I guess.
Okay, the gentleman in the white jacket.
John Strong from Fox Sports United States. For both of you, what are the ways in which you're seeing the Australian players, but also this Australian team improve over the last couple of years that you hope will show not just tomorrow night, but over the course of the next week and a half in these matches?
Well, I guess, as Tim said, we've kind of been building over the last probably 3 years to build a kind of core group of players who understand the kind of football we want to play and the kind of team we want to be. And every game we've played and every opponent we've had, we've kind of treated as an opportunity to improve that and really embedded within the DNA of the side. And we're well down the track now. I think the kind of football we want to play is something that the players have embraced, and every game gives us an opportunity to get a little better. And there's no greater, measure of that than when you do it against the very best, and that's what we'll do at this tournament. We're not going to hide. We're going to try and play our football against some of the best nations in the world and measure ourselves against that.
Thank you. The gentleman with the glasses.
And Kieran Pender from The Guardian. You've got 3 very big games this week, and then in August you've got the all-important clash with Japan. Do you think the next 3 months could define your tenure with the Socceroos, for better or for worse?
No, I think my tenure's already been defined, so I don't care about it. We'll keep doing what we're doing, and we've people forget this is a reward for something we achieved. It wasn't given to us, yeah. So if people are easily dismissing that, they'll dismiss everything else. So I don't really care.
Question in the back there.
Hello, Ivan Raup from Global Brazil. What are the advantages and the disadvantages to play against such a young team of Germany?
Yeah, okay. Let's dispel one myth. When the teams walk out tomorrow, if I had to have a guess, I reckon we'll be younger. So, if people actually want to do some research, have a look tomorrow who the younger team is. So, from that point of view, I don't buy into any of that stuff. We'll go out there tomorrow and play our football, and it's a great opening game for us. We're playing against the world champions, a team that wants to win the World Cup next year, have been faultless through their qualifying. What a great test for us, and that's what we'll use it as. But I'm not buying into this. One team's younger, and somehow we're playing a weakened team. I just think it's a bit of a myth. Like I said, when we roll out tomorrow, do the maths. Do their starting 11, our starting 11, work out an average and tell me who's younger. I could be wrong.
Okay, the lady here in the front.
Lucy Zelich, SBS Television. This one's for Tim. Tim, when I caught up with Ange yesterday morning, he said that, why shouldn't we be ambitious? Why can't we believe that we can win this tournament? What gives you the belief that Australia can go all the way?
The belief for me is being part of over a decade with the Socceroos. As one of the older statesmen, I've seen it. 3 World Cups, 3 Asian Cups, 2nd Confederations Cup. And in the last 2.5 years of being involved in this group, it's seeing 20 to 60 players buy into a philosophy and evolving as footballers, going on the world stage and competing level, not going there just being physical Australian players that are out there that can physically beat you in a battle. Last World Cup I played in Brazil, I got to play and witness an exceptional young bunch of players outplay some of the best teams in the world for big parts of the game. Yes, we didn't win the games. And then we evolved to a different stage in the Asian Cup where we won it, a competition that we weren't supposed to win because, we're against all odds again. And now the qualifiers and being here at the Confederations Cup, I know because I'm a part of it. Regardless what happens outside of our camp is not really a big issue for us. It's what we believe in and what we can take onto the pitch. So I think when everyone watches us play and managers, other managers will really respect it because they can see us playing football. They can see us putting a big stronghold on the game. So tomorrow's going to be a big game for us, but also for them. And they're going to need the points just as much as us. And I know that with the thought of them coming in as underdogs, Draxler isn't a small name. Some of these players that are being undermined on an international level, is definitely questionable.
Okay, the next question, gentleman over there.
Hi, Rob Harris, Associated Press. And you seem a bit irritated and prickly with some answers today. Is that a sign of uneasiness and pressure you feel in it? Is there concern that carries over to the players, or do you want them to sort of have more of your sort of spirit of fighting back?
Yeah, you must know me really well. How many times you met me before? First time? Yeah, well, maybe that's just my demeanour. Here's your answer.
More questions? Maybe in the back of the room that I can't see. Yeah, just here in front. Gentleman, and afterwards, red shirt.
Mikey Smith from Perform Group. Tim, Emre Can, who you'll be playing against, scored the Premier League's goal of the season last season. Was it as good as your goal against the Netherlands, in your opinion?
For me, goals are goals. Whether it's a 2-yard tap-in or whatever someone else scores, it's not something that's a concern to me. But like you said, he's a world-class player playing tomorrow night. So you know, when you talk about experience and what level these kids have played at, it's not about age. It's about, you know, when you're 16 and 18 and you decide to be a professional footballer and play on the biggest stage, there's nothing to do with age. So well done to Emre for his good goal.
Okay, next question here in front.
Максим Лазаров, агентство ТАСС. Скажите, пожалуйста,
Maxim Lazarov, TASS.
матч открытия, матч сборной
Could you
России.
say if you saw the opening game yesterday, and what can you see about the Russian squad? What conclusions can you draw from their play?
Yeah, we watched the game. Obviously, we had training and then got back and it was on in our meal room. Yeah, they looked strong yesterday, and obviously being the home side and with you know, the advantages of having a home crowd, it does make a difference, and it was important for them to get off to a good start. So yeah, look, they were thought they were impressive yesterday, and I think you know, both groups are going to be pretty tight in the end. You know, when you look at Mexico, Portugal today, it'll be a cracking game, and obviously Chile, Cameroon will be equally, I guess, willing in our group. So, but again, that's why we're here. It's play against the best, and hopefully put on a good show.
Okay, next question here.
Ben McKay, Australian Associated Press again. Tim, I'm sure you would prioritise team success at this tournament, but you're on the cusp of 100 caps and 50 goals. Can I ask you just to dwell on what that might mean to you personally for a moment?
I think, you know, being in this Confederations Cup was the first thing for me as a player to just get here. I'm here now, and for us as a group of 23 players, it's about contributing, whether you start, whether you come off the bench, and whether you don't even play. And I think that's the beauty of it. Being able to have the chance to, you know, hopefully get to that mark will be a massive honour in my career. And, you know, over time, I'll much prefer to take success in this competition because it's a massive competition for us as a group of players and staff. So I'm looking forward for us to do well, and whatever comes individually will be a massive honour.
One more question for Australia here.
Lucy Zelich, SBS Television. Ange, this one's for you. How important is it and how valuable is it to have a player like Tim Cahill with his wealth of experience in this side?
Look, yeah, I mean, it's obviously important, particularly with the group we have at the, here, and you know, obviously losing Mile Jednak on the eve, you know, obviously from an experience point of view, leaves a bit of a void, and yeah. But Timmy's been great from, I guess, the moment I took over. He's kind of embraced that leadership role. He enjoys it. You know, as he says, it keeps him young, hanging out with the young boys. So, and look, because he has done it all at the highest level, you know, the players respond to that. And, you know, him and Mark Milligan obviously got a crucial role within this group because they're the two that have some meaningful experience. But it's also time for a few of the others to step up, to be fair. You know, we've got a few guys now who are edging towards 20, 30 caps, and they should start feeling comfortable at this level and should start, you know, filling some of that leadership void that we may have because Mile's not here. But, yeah, as I said, you know, Tim's here firstly because of his ability. He's still able to produce at the highest level, but he adds to that with the experience he has around the place.
Okay, question here in the front.
Ярослав Суза, Спортэкспресс.
Sport
Вам уже 37 лет, и
Tim, you're already 37.
проводили больше года назад. Вообще, стоит ли рассчитывать, что вы проведете полный матч на Кубке Конфедерации, и рассчитываете
Can we
действительно
take
сыграть
into
в чемпионате
account
мира в
that you
России?
will play at the full potential and you will play until the end of the game?
Yeah, for sure. I think for me, my one thing that I've always done my whole life is being professional. Every year that I play a minimum 70% of the games in a season. So this year, 21 games plus with international, fully completed, body's in good order. And that's my aim, to be at this competition, to be available for 5 minutes or 95 minutes. So I think when you play at this level, you have to be ready and you have to be professional. If not, you have no place here. So it's really important when you're part of this group of players, you understand that the 23 are picked over a season, not just 2 games or what you've done in the last World Cup. And I think that's the beauty of it for me is I get to be a level playing field with a 18-year-old compared to myself as 37-year-old.
Okay, question for the lady over there.
Здравствуйте, Кубанские новости, Светлана Голуб. Продолжение вопроса. Вопрос сначала для тренера. Выйдет ли Тим в стартовом составе завтра? И для Тима вопрос, насколько важно тебе выйти именно с первых минут?
Yeah, look, in terms of the team, we've obviously got our last training session here, the stadium now, and I'll make the decision after that. The good thing for us is everyone's fit and available. We obviously had our last game against Brazil and got some game time into some players who hadn't played for a while, including Tim. And now here, everyone's fit and well. We kind of know that this tournament, it has a day less between games, some travel as well. So, it's going to be a bit of a war of attrition in terms of the squad. And the one thing I've emphasised the squad that everyone needs to be ready. So I'll make the decisions about the 11 after tonight's session, and we'll go from there.
Okay, we get last couple of questions over here. Oh no, Tim, yeah, of course.
For me, it's simple. I think any part of the game, regardless of your age or who you are, whatever time you get, you can change it. And I've been watching a lot of video, and so have the players on Germany, and we'll be looking for ways as individuals and collectively to find weaknesses. And for me, if I start on the bench and come on, I'll be looking for one moment, just like every other moment that's happened in my career, to do some damage to the German defence.
Do you plan to stick with the three-man defence?
We'll stick with how we've been going. Yeah, if that's a three-man defence that people see, I think from our perspective, it's about, as I said, continuing to evolve our game. And over recent times, we've made some adjustments that I think helps us with the players we have, be able to perform at our best. And we've obviously got a couple of different ways we can sort of put the team out. But from our perspective, the key thing will be not the numbers behind it, but our intent and making sure that from our perspective we try and dictate the game. And when you're playing against the very best, that's the biggest challenge. And that's what we're going to set the team out to do.
Okay. I think there's one last question. The gentleman in the white shirt.
For Tim, sort of bigger picture, but I'm curious, having spent most of your career based overseas in England and then with us at MLS, what has it meant to you to be back in Australia the last couple of seasons, and what stands out most to you from your time in the US?
I think it's awesome. From England to America, it was a great experience being part of the MLS, understanding the football, the commercial side, the development of what they've done over years and years of the game, and also how competitive it is. It's obviously a place where a lot of the players want to play, and it was a great experience. So being home now in Australia is just as good, because after leaving China, I get now to look after the body, play in my home league, help grow the league, make the league better, and play with A-League players that do get selected in this national team as well. So I think the biggest thing for me is prolonging my career and making sure that I can still play as many games as possible to stay professional, to be selected for my country.
Okay. We end the press conference. Can you do one more question for the lady over there?
Sorry,
one more
Ange.
question.
No more talking up to sport.
No more questions.
You're a fierce competitor, Ange, and we know you instill this belief in the team. We saw it 3 years ago. It's been mentioned that you both and the team itself made a big statement in Brazil without getting the wins. Just wondering, for this tournament and hopefully next year as well, is that something that drives you, and I guess is that part of your hunger, converting the statements and the potential that the Aussies have into the wins?
Oh, look, no doubt. We saw the last World Cup as a missed opportunity, even though we performed fairly well. As Tim said, we lost 3 games, but there was certainly the first 2 games we were well in it, and we thought we missed an opportunity, and we certainly don't want to be in that boat again, where we just play good, play well and compete well and not win. But having said that, it won't be any more satisfying to me if we win and we don't play well. If we get a victory that's just backs to the wall and sort of scramble through, that's not going to be really satisfying either. So I'm a coach, as has already been pointed out. I'm pretty grumpy, so I'm hard to please. And from my perspective, we want to perform well. We won't shy away from that. We want to play well against the best. That's the measure of how you're going. But we want to win as well, because I think that's what the country wants.
Okay, thank you very much, Coach and Tim, for joining at the press conference. We have now the training session that will start at 5:15.